All right, what's going on, everyone? Ayo here, and today we're going to be talking about the function of the ankles, knees, and hips in the squat. Now, it's really important that when we squat, that the ankles and hips and knees are in line with each other. I was discussing with one of my clients, and she was mentioning to me how she was having discomfort in her knees, and with this simple cue of just letting the knees track in line with the hips and the ankles, she immediately was able to relieve that discomfort in the squat pattern. So today I'm going to be showing you how you can improve the tracking of your knee while you're doing your squat. All right, so here's a quick cue that you can use to help to make sure that your knees are tracking in line with the squat. So when you start with your squat pattern, right, make sure foot pressing off of the midfoot. As you unlock the knees and the hips, you want to make sure that we force the knees out. Now, we don't want to force the knees out so wide that the knees aren't tracking with the feet. Instead, normally track or let the knees follow in line with the hips and the ankle. And as we're coming up, right, think about forcing the knees out, right? Usually when we squat down, a lot of people tend to have a lot of some valgus or some internal hip rotation as they're coming up into the squat. So instead, try to think of countering that pattern. Instead of letting the knees cave in, let the knees be forced out. So again, as you're coming down to that squat position, as you're coming up, think about keeping the knees out and returning to that standing position. All right, so another thing that you can also use to help with the tracking of your knee is to use a little resistance band, or rather a hip circle, to help improve the function of the glutes. So the way this works is that when you use the hip circle and you step into it, what's happening is that with the hip circle is forcing your knees in to cave in, right? So what happens is now we have to use our glutes to make sure that we don't allow the knees to cave in. So using this will also allow us, we'll do two things. It'll teach us how to keep the knees out in our squat, and also it'll help to strengthen out the glute med muscles. So again, around the knee, you're gonna come down into a deep squat position. Right here is gonna be the most challenging part, right? The band wants to force the knees in, but I need to use that glute med to force the knees out. And then you're gonna return to that starting position. All right, I hope that tip helped. Hopefully you can use it to help improve the function of your squat with the tracking of how your knees follow the ankles and the hips, and also to relieve any type of discomfort that you might have been having in your squat patterns. Let us know if you have any other fitness questions you'd like to discuss. I'll talk to you soon.